could we expect one more rodeo?
I don't know what life holds as far as fighting and competing. I do feel like I'll be a lifelong martial artist, whether I'm coaching others or taking exhibition matches or things like that. There's a lot of great competition still in the UFC. I do view myself as more than a fighter. And being in my position, I feel like I have a lot more options than a lot of the other fighters as far as the ability to leave and return and things like that. And so right now, I'm just focusing on love, happiness, kindness. We're in the quarter century mark. And this year should be a really special year. So this year, I'm saying yes to more opportunities. I always love it. I'll always love it. Yeah.
God, I'm looking at you, right, and I see the feelings, bro. I see it. I see the love.
Yeah. I'll always be there. It changed my life. It gave me an opportunity to change my branch in our family tree, and so I'll always be greatly indebted to the sport.
100%. You left your mark here. You are an absolute legend.
Thanks.
And aside from the ring,
Jon Jones has been at the center of a lot of buzz lately, not just because of his incredible legacy inside the octagon, but also because fans and the MMA world are wondering what's next for him. Rumors have been flying about whether he might get stripped of his title, especially since he hasn't fought Tom Aspinall, who's been waiting patiently for his chance to challenge for the belt. This frustration has even led to fans starting petitions demanding the UFC take the title away from Jon, pushing the question, is Jon stepping back for good, or is there more fighting left in him?
Tom, and the work that he's put in, or lack thereof, and I think he could have a tremendous future in the UFC, but when you've been around this long, you realize that people are here today and gone tomorrow, and maybe eventually, if he can earn some things in the UFC, because I think right now the only champion he's ever fought against or beat was Andrei Arlovski, who was way past his prime. What's left for me to prove? Honestly, not much. There's really not much to prove.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and I've been in it for a long time. I've fought different generations of fighters. I'm at a stage now in my career where I meet young men who are adults who tell me they've been watching me since they were 10 years old, and so I've been.
In a recent interview, Jon gave a surprisingly honest look into where his mind is at. He said he doesn't really know what life holds in terms of fighting and competing anymore. He sees himself as a lifelong martial artist, whether that means coaching, stepping into exhibition matches, or possibly moving away from regular UFC fights. He shared that MMA completely changed his life and that he'll always love the sport no matter what. But right now, he's focusing on other things like love, kindness, family, and personal growth. He's consciously choosing to be kinder, travel more, and say yes to new opportunities outside the cage. It's clear that Jon is in a different headspace these days, thinking beyond just his fighting career.
And this year should be a really special year. So this year, I'm saying yes to more opportunities. Hence me being here, meeting you.
so grateful.
I'm glad that I'm doing this. I've been meeting so many great people. I'm saying yes to more opportunities. I'm traveling more. I'm consciously being kinder to people. And that's just the wave I'm on right now. It's just like love and kindness and peace, and focusing on family and focusing on me, my aura.
Meanwhile, outside of Jon's own story, there's a very different narrative taking shape. Fans and experts are growing frustrated with his absence, seeing his travels and time away from fighting as a way of dodging the tough challenges ahead, especially the fight against Tom Aspinall. Many feel Jon is putting his lifestyle and comfort before the sport, and that's sparked a wave of calls demanding he be stripped of his title for inactivity. Petitions have popped up online, with supporters arguing that the division can't wait forever and deserves a champion who's actively defending the belt.
Time we go online now, Jon's loving this. Jon is absolutely loving this. He is just messing with us at this point. Like, you go online and he's like, I don't know what he's doing. He's wrestling with 10 guys in the pool. What's he doing over there in Thailand? Look at Jon.
Hit the running man first.
Look at this guy, loving it.
It's pretty funny.
In the rain.
That shit is not funny, Pete.
Also, is he wearing a cap? Why is he jumping into the pool wearing a cap? And then what's happening here?
You know yourself.
What is going on? Jon is just, this is retirement Jon.
You do know
Boys with a few
yourself,
cocktails.
Is he wearing a tank top? What's happening? Who are those guys, by the way?
if Jones really wanted this fight, he would have already accepted it a long time ago.
No.
Right? The old Jones would have been like, oh, no,
Yeah.
next year, I'll fight him. Let's
Yeah.
make it happen. Where now he's like, oh, I think if I do lose,
Yeah.
I want 50 million.
And he
into it.
says it as well. I'm not. For John Jones' whole career, he's like, I'm going to destroy. I'm
Yeah.
going to beat. I'm
Yeah.
going to win. That's all of his speaking points going into fights.
Yeah.
For the first time, and I swear to God, John Jones said this. These guys want me to gamble my legacy against this other guy. What language? As a champion.
Yeah.
You know, we hear a lot of language.
Yeah.
Strickland was a champ once, and his language was colorful. But
Yeah.
this language is. This ain't John Jones.
Yeah.
Gamble your legacy? What
Yeah.
gamble? You're John Jones.
But
ridiculous.
anyhow, back to John Jones. Okay, Ben. So yep, that was John Jones jumping into a pool. I mean, that was John Jones. So John Jones was jumping into a pool. John Jones was riding a motorcycle in Thailand. John Jones was he says that he's living his best life. But does that mean it's over? Like, is fighting done for him? I don't know, because he said something about being happy, but he wouldn't say he's retired. And it's it's a weird place that he's at in his career.
While John's talking about peace, family, and stepping back from the fight game, Tom Aspinall isn't buying any of it. In fact, Tom thinks there's a much different story playing out, one where John is manipulating the public, the media, and even the UFC itself. In a recent interview, Tom was clear about how he sees things. He said John is a master of controlling the narrative, keeping fans on his side, and painting this picture of himself as someone who's just living his best life, focusing on family, traveling, and personal growth. But Tom sees it all as a clever distraction. According to him, John has been avoiding the hard fights, first Ngannou and now him. He pointed out that John didn't step up to fight Francis Ngannou for years, and now it's been over a year with no sign of John stepping up to fight him either.
I mean, the thing with John is conning the public, man.
Whoa. And Logan Paul, it's his favorite fighter.
Yeah. Oh, is it really?
Well,
yeah. Listen.
I mean, he's definitely top three. He's definitely top three.
Absolutely. I'm not disputing that he's an amazing fighter. I think the fact that he didn't want to fight Ngannou for 3 years, and now he's not wanting to fight me for over a year, and the way he manipulates the media and the public is super smart. I'm not taking anything away from him, but do I think he's scared to take the tough fights at this stage in his career? Absolutely.
Tom's not here to pretend that John isn't one of the greatest. He openly said John is a genius at playing the game, and he respects that on some level. But when it comes down to it, Tom truly believes John is avoiding the tough fights at this point in his career. He doesn't think John wants to risk his legacy against a hungry contender like him. And while Tom can understand why someone like John might want to avoid danger this late in his career, he's not letting him off the hook. If you ask Tom straight up whether John is scared to fight him, he'll say yes, without hesitation. Tom respects John's greatness, but he's not convinced by this whole living it up image John is selling.
Yeah, I can.
You can empathize with that?
I respect it. But if you're going to ask me the straight up question, is John Jones afraid to fight me? The honest answer would be yes.
Well, is regardless of that and that fear, because clearly he's overcome it at times in the past, is that fight fucking happening?
I cannot say or deny. No, right now we're actually waiting for news. I'm chasing it up. Like the UFC are saying that it's going to happen. I'm chasing it all the time.
This is the only sport where somebody's putting you on ice.
I think I'm a bad matchup for him, to be honest. And I think he knows it.
I think it's a huge risk.
Yeah.
You're younger, you're athletic, you hit hard, you pose problems. We don't have much data on you.
Yeah, I get it completely, get his point of view. I just want to prove I'm the best.
And right now, with no confirmed news about whether the fight will even happen, Tom, like the rest of us, is stuck waiting. And that's exactly where Ariel Helwani comes into this. While John's busy living it up, Tom Aspinall is left stuck in the waiting game. And Ariel isn't buying into John's peace and love story. He sees right through it. To Ariel, this is John playing the ultimate heel, controlling the narrative, keeping the fans guessing, and manipulating the situation to his advantage. Meanwhile, Tom's just trying to keep his head down and focus on what he wants most, to be the undisputed champion. It's not even about fighting John anymore. It's about getting his shot at the real belt. But as Ariel points out, while John's busy enjoying his time in Thailand, Tom's left in the dust, training hard every day with no clear fight in sight.
Comes out, and I think he did an interview, with DJ, and he talks about how, all this kind of sucks. Tom's in a tough spot. I've been inactive for nearly a year, and I'm just being told to wait. I don't care about fighting John Jones. I just want to be the undisputed champion. By the way, I've been saying this from the beginning. Like the John part is just a nice little item, but he just wants undisputed gold. John loving this. Shut your mouth and do as you're told. Oh my God, the ultimate heel. Finally, at the very end of his career, he's playing up to it all. So the ultimate heel. And then yesterday, Tom teasing us with some big news. Heavyweight news coming. Look at that. Now, I think he clarified that he ain't announcing anything, and it's the UFC announcing his fights. But he joked that he was going to be defending his interim belt. I'm pretty sure. There it is. UFC announced my fights, guys. Not me. Sorry. I'm fighting for a new belt, interim of the interim BMF UFC heavyweight title, living my best life.
Ariel's frustrated because the UFC seems in no rush to move the division forward. They're dragging things out, leaving Tom with nothing to aim for, except maybe a fight at Madison Square Garden in November. That's months of waiting, months of uncertainty, and Tom's been sidelined for almost a year now. Ariel's take is blunt. This is John Jones manipulating the system, the UFC letting it happen, and Tom Aspinall paying the price.
Here, why are we waiting any longer on this?
I think there's no urgency. There's no need. They only really need Tom back by MSG, which sucks because he should be fighting earlier than that. He could probably fight twice before that, or at least once, and then MSG.
Fight one more time in November. Yeah.
I hope they start doing the old Floyd Patterson thing where they like make him fight 5 lads in one night after this.
That'd be
been
great.
So long since we saw him. You know what I mean?
This heavyweight
Fucking hell.
division, he could do the top 10 pretty easily.
It's an unfortunate
Aspinall runs the
thing.
gauntlet.
I always think of like, okay, so Tom Aspinall wakes up on a Monday, right? And he's like, all right, work week, let's get it. Go to the gym, spar some dudes, do whatever he's got to do. And like, where's the motivation at that point?
Yeah, exactly.
Demetrius Johnson and the MMA guru didn't hold back regarding their take on this John Jones versus Tom Aspinall situation. They both agree that this isn't the same John Jones from 5 years ago. Back then, Jones was so dominant, so confident that he'd fight anyone without hesitation, whether it was Rampage, Shogun, or Glover. He had no doubts, and that confidence carried him through. But now, the guru says that doubt has crept in. Jones sees Tom as a real threat, one that is bigger, stronger, faster, and with true knockout power and solid grappling. This isn't a fight where Jones can just walk in and dominate like he did with smaller, older opponents. Tom is different. He's not a welterweight-sized guy. He's a heavyweight with finishing potential, and that's an opponent John's never really faced.
Was a champ 5 years ago.
Jones would have fought him easily.
Jones would have fought him easily. But it's the doubt. When you give a guy like Jones some doubt, it's such a power because he had no doubt against anyone else he's ever fought. He's so much better. And that's almost what carried him through a lot of his career.
I see.
I'm better. On the early doors, he's too athletic for Rampage and Shogun. These are welterweight-sized guys these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
But nowadays in the UFC, I think he knows Tom is the antidote to him. In terms of fighting, if you look at John Jones's career, as great as he is, he's never fought a guy his size or bigger with finishing potential.
Demetrius Johnson is on the same page, but he takes it even further. He thinks John's stalling for time by asking for 6 months because he needs more data on Tom. Johnson points out that Aspinall is hard to read. He's fast, athletic, and unpredictable. He explodes across the cage, closes the distance, and just blitzes people. That kind of speed is a nightmare for John. Johnson also sees that Jones might be trying to study Tom's tendencies, gather more info, and figure out a game plan before stepping into the cage. But the longer this drags out, the harder it gets for Tom, because he's stuck waiting while Jones sits back, watching, analyzing, and buying time.
I think Tom.
I think Tom can beat John Jones because how fast and athletic he is.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is that this is where me and Michael were talking is that Jones says he wants 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't expect Tom Aspinall to wait 6 months.
No.
If Jones says, oh, he can fight somebody else, I think it's for Jones to get more data on Aspinall because there's not a lot of data on Aspinall when he...
Both believe if Tom doesn't get caught up in the John Jones aura, if he keeps it technical, stays composed, and doesn't let Jones control the fight, he has a real shot at beating him. The key is simple. Stay aggressive, avoid the mental traps, and don't let John get away with it.
Yeah.
Gamble your legacy? What gamble? You're John Jones.
Yeah.
So I think he senses like, fuck.
Well, I think
he's bigger, he's stronger, and, which is so uncommon, he's bigger, stronger, and faster.
Yeah. No, he's definitely faster.
One punch knockout power.
Yeah.
can grapple.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I don't think he's going to be as easy as Gane. He might get
Daniel Cormier and Ben Askren also weighed in with their views. Ben is pretty clear about how he feels. He is frustrated that Tom Aspinall has been waiting around with no fights for so long. He points out that Tom has been sitting on the bench for almost a year, and that is not fair. There are other heavyweights like Volkov who are also ready to fight. Ben feels that the UFC should just let these guys fight. He says that if Tom loses, then that is fine. At least he got his chance. But the UFC should not just leave him waiting. He even brings up the example of Michael Chandler, who has been waiting forever to fight Conor McGregor. Ben does not want to see Tom stuck in that same situation, waiting and waiting.
Give Tom Aspinall a damn fight. Tom Aspinall's been sitting on the bench for, I don't know, 10 months now. We have other heavyweights. Volkov was recently speaking up about how he would like to be more active. We have plenty of other heavyweights who want to be plenty active. Just give these guys fights.
But what if Tom Aspinall gets beat? Then he just doesn't
Then
deserve.
John Jones fights someone else.
But then he just didn't deserve to fight Jones in the first place.
Absolutely. I mean, think about what happened with Michael Chandler. How long did he wait for freaking
Conor?
Conor, like, do not do that. So you have a bunch of younger, fun heavyweights. Like, let's let these dudes.
Cormier, on the other hand, has his own take, and it is a little different. He points out something that is strange. Right now, Jon Jones, who is the official UFC heavyweight champion, and Tom Aspinall, who is the interim champ, have the same number of heavyweight title defenses. Both of them have defended their belts only once. That seems crazy when you think about it. Cormier says that it just does not make sense. He feels like the situation is messy, and it would be nice if Jon Jones could just explain what he is thinking. Jones often gives mixed signals, saying different things at different times, and it makes it hard to know what he really wants. Both of them know that Jon is a great fighter, one of the best, but Ben also points out that there have been controversies around him, like drug suspensions, and that affects how people see him.
Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall both have the same amount of title defenses. One.
Heavyweight title defenses.
Heavyweight title defenses. How is that possible? How does your interim champion have the same amount of heavyweight title defenses as your active champion? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of been John's. I would love to be able to like pour some truth serum down Jon Jones's throat and actually just like talk to him and just get some real answers, because he puts all these different like vibes out there, and I mean I would have to. So just looking at his resume, and people can argue this, obviously one of the greatest ever.
Yes, he is.
Based on his
Without
wins.
question.
So that is where things stand. Tom Aspinall is stuck waiting. The division is stuck too. And Jon Jones is the one with all the power, while everyone else is waiting to see what he decides to do next. What do you think? Should Tom risk it all and take another fight, or should he wait for his chance to fight Jon? Let us know in the comments below.